So if you're just starting out dropshipping and you're running on a low budget, this is exactly how I would test products using Facebook ads. So let's assume you're browsing on AliExpress or whatever research method that you're using and you find a product that you think is worth testing. As an example, I found this product that basically allows you to upload any image and it just shows up on the back of your iPhone, which is typically the products that I like to look for because it has a really strong wow factor. Honestly, it's something that's pretty cool and I've never seen anything like this. And the best part about this is that it's a very broad product and can appeal to a lot of people in this world because let's be real, there's millions of people that own iPhones and could benefit from a product like this. So if I was to test this product, this is exactly how I would structure my testing campaign with Facebook. So with every testing campaign, I just label it something like tests and then just the product name like this. Inside the campaign, I'm gonna have a total of 5 ad sets, all at $10 per day each. And this is typically the budget I like to start out with most of the products that I test. But if you're testing a higher ticket product, anywhere between $80 to $100 or more, then I would probably recommend starting with a budget of $20. But for the sake of this video, this is a low budget strategy. And for the most part, you can typically see success with just $10 to start off with. And to give a closer look on how I've structured each of these ad sets, you're gonna notice that I have one of the ad sets that's labeled as broad. And this basically means we're not gonna have any interest at all on this ad set. And we're basically gonna use the Facebook algorithm to find the best audience possible that could be interested in the product that we're testing. And with these 4 other ad sets, I basically just put one broad interest that's related to the product that I'm selling. So if I take a closer look at this ad set, I'm gonna show you how I've structured everything here. So at the very top, I selected website. I always choose purchase as my conversion event. Never select any other conversion event. Over here is where you can set up your daily budget. I always choose a daily budget of $10. For the ad schedule, you want to make sure to set it at the very next day at midnight. This is so that you can let Facebook have a full 24-hour window to spend your $10. But as a side note, later on in this video, I'm going to give you guys a complete framework of all the data points that you are going to be looking out for once you actually launch your ads. Because depending on the results that you're getting in the middle of the day, you might need to actually shut off your ad set, which is going to end up saving you money so that you're not going to be forced to spend the full $10 on all of your ad sets. So make sure you stick around to watch that. That being said, let me scroll down a bit further and show you how I set up my audience controls. So when you are actually setting up your campaign, you're gonna notice that it's gonna automatically set it to Advantage Plus Audience, but you're gonna see a little button that says to switch to the original audience options. Me personally, I like to still use the original audience options just so I can have some more control over the interest that I wanna target. So for the locations, because we are testing at a low budget of $10, you wanna make sure that you're only targeting one country. This is so that we can eliminate as many variables as possible and not have like $2 spent towards one country, another $3 spent to another country, because when that happens, it just becomes really difficult to read the data and you're gonna have a harder time making a decision, especially if you're just a beginner. So to keep things simple, just stick to one country and you should be good. For the age, the gender, and the interest, this really just comes down to common sense. Because this is an iPhone case and it's pretty cool, I would think that people of any age range could potentially find this product cool as well. And I definitely think both male and female would also like this product as well. So that is exactly why I keep everything as broad as possible here. I'm targeting ages 18 to 65, and then I'm targeting all genders. And for the interest, you just basically want to type in any keywords that come to mind and that has anything to do with your product. And basically all I did is I typed in something like phone accessories, and this is exactly how I was able to find this interest right here. And this interest is giving us an estimated audience size of around 6 to 7 million people, which is definitely enough, especially since we're only testing at a budget of $10. And do keep in mind that the Facebook algorithm is just going to be using our interest as a guiding point, and it's going to look for people outside of this audience window anyway. So this is something that you don't really need to worry too much about. And for the placements, I always stick to Advantage Plus placements. And this basically just lets Facebook to show your ad to wherever it feels like it's going to perform the best. And that's basically it. That's the entire structure of all of my ad sets, except the only difference of my broad ad set is that I don't have an interest right here. It's going to be the exact same thing, but this section is going to be blank. And again, we're just going to be letting the Facebook algorithm try to find the best audience that's going to be interested in our product. So now that you understand how you can structure all of your ad sets in your testing campaign, now I'm going to go over how to set up your ads. So with every single ad set is going to have 3 variations of ads for my product. So regardless of what ad set that I select, whether I want to select this one, it's going to have the same exact variation of 3 ads that I'm testing for this product. And this is basically what all of my ads look like. As you can see, it looks extremely organic. It looks like somebody's just in an Apple store and demonstrating how this product works. And I'm going to go ahead and play one of these ads just so you can get an idea of how it actually looks like.
All right, let me show you guys again. As you can see, there's nothing fancy going on here with this case. Let me just put this on. Now let's open up the app, take a pic of this random kid, and upload. It might take a few seconds to connect. And there you go. The photo appears just like that. No battery required. Click now to get one.
So as you noticed in that video, it sounded like somebody was actually replying to a comment, which is exactly why I have all of these comment bubbles, as you can see on my videos, because it looks really organic. It doesn't look like an ad, and it's something that works really well on both Facebook and TikTok. And what I did with the two other ads is that I just found clips that were recorded in different angles of that Apple store just to see which one can actually potentially perform better on Facebook. For the most part, both of these videos have the same exact script. It's the same exact guy just acting like he's replying to these comments, but it's just shown in a slightly different way. And basically what we're doing is that we're giving these three ads to Facebook, and we're gonna see which one the algorithm decides to choose. And when it comes to actually setting up each of your ads, this is basically how it looks like. So the first thing that you wanna do is make sure you select your Facebook page. This is something you don't need to overcomplicate. It could either be the name of your store or it could be the name of the product itself. Don't model after the name that I have here. This is literally just a demo page and it has nothing to do with my store or the product. For the Instagram account, if you don't have one, you can just simply use the Facebook page. And then over here is where you're basically just gonna be able to upload all of your video ads. So as a quick side note, if you wanna know exactly how I edited all of these video ads, make sure to watch my full ecom course video here, which goes step by step on exactly what I did to edit these ads using CapCut. And in that video, I showed the exact same product and the exact same ads that you see here. And then once you've uploaded all of your videos, you obviously just wanna put the URL of your product page. And this is basically how my product page looks like. As you can see, it looks really simple. I just have a couple of high quality images that show this product in a lifestyle way. And then I also have a short description explaining what the product is and how it works. I have some nice icons and some of these little drop downs that explain our shipping and delivery information. Down here, I also have a couple of sections that show the results of the product or some of the key features of our product. And then below these sections, I also have a guarantee section and then also a section for our customer reviews, just to establish more credibility behind the product that we're testing. And every time I test products using Facebook ads, I always test them on a general store. And in case you don't know what a general store is, it's basically just having one single Shopify store that allows you to test any product that you want. And here's an example of a general store that's absolutely killing it right now. I think they have more than 1 million people visiting this store every single month. And basically all this store is just selling a variety of different items. So you can see that they have this little pancake flipper, they have this little toilet scrubber right here, this egg cooking pod, and then also this little mini portable shaver. And this is essentially the same concept of the general store that I have here. On mine, it's just a simple homepage that just has a variety of different products, some of these different sections that just highlight what our store is about and things like that. The main advantages of using a general store is, number one, it's going to save you a lot of time and you're not going to have to build out a new store every single time you want to test a new product. So if you look at my store, I know the homepage design isn't the best out there. And if we look at the design of this homepage, I don't think it's that great either. But what you need to understand is that when you're running Facebook ads, people are going to be directed onto your product page. And as long as your product page is well optimized and looks something like this, where you're actually building perceived value behind your product, that is more than enough, especially if you're just testing out that product. Because the last thing that you want to do, and to avoid burnout when it comes to dropshipping, is having to build a brand new store every single time you test products. And the way that I was able to build out my product page is by simply using the Shopify theme editor. If you go up to the top and you click on products, you can create a specific template for every single product on your store so that you can set up any section that you want on the left-hand side. And that is exactly how I was able to set up this product page for the product that you see here using my general store. And if you want to get your own free pre-built general store to help you save time, then make sure to scroll down below this video and sign up for Zendrop, as they're offering all of my viewers a free pre-built store that already has more than 20 products preloaded onto the store with a pre-designed homepage that looks something like this, so that you don't have to spend all of that time doing the designing by yourself. And it also takes care of some of those intricate things, such as setting up all of your policy pages and things like that. You can see that all of these pages are already done for you, so that all you have to do is just put in your store logo, upload your products, set up custom product templates exactly as I previously mentioned with every product that you test, and you'll be on your way with testing all of the products that you want with Facebook without all the extra hassles. And as a quick side note, if you don't know what Zendrop is, it's basically just a fulfillment platform made for beginners like you who need a really easy way to fulfill your dropshipping orders, because all it takes is a couple of clicks just to fulfill your orders and get it shipped to all of your customers within 7 to 12 days on average. And if you do sign up for the trial and get your free pre-built store, they're also going to throw in a free $200 that you can use to fulfill all of your orders. So I suggest taking advantage of all of that. And again, the link is going to be in the description below. So again, that's exactly how I set up my store and the product pages. You just want to make sure you direct all of your Facebook ads over to your product page link. And this is typically the format that I always follow with the products that I'm testing. It's just one simple sentence that explains what the customer gets out of using the product, 3 features or benefits with emojis, and then also a call to action on the bottom. And honestly guys, the ad copy itself is not really the most important thing when it comes to Facebook ads. Much of your results is going to come from the actual content itself, because that's what the viewers are going to actually be seeing when it goes on their Facebook feed. But if you need help to write all the ad copy, you can easily just go on ChatGPT and ask them to help you write Facebook ad copies for your product. But if you want, you can also use my ChatGPT prompt. I'll have it linked down below, and you can see this is all of the results it was able to give for me. And this is exactly what I used for the primary text here. And you can see it also has the headline in the description, which you will also see if I scroll down. You're gonna have a box where you can input your headline, which is gonna show up on your creative right here. And then the description is basically just that small piece of text that is shown under your headline. And then for my two other ads, I obviously upload my second ad variation, but I also change up the ad copy as well. And again, I just used some of the other variations that was created from my ChatGPT results, and I simply copied and pasted it here for my other two ad variations. So once your ads are ready to go, this is basically how everything looks on your Facebook campaign. At the top is going to be our campaign, which is basically a folder that contains all of our different ad sets that contain all of the interests, the age ranges, and the things that we set up on the ad set level. And every ad set is going to contain our combination of 3 ads that we created for our product. And to give you an idea of how the Facebook algorithm actually distributes all our ads to the users on the platform, we can think of every user on the platform as this giant bubble of 300 million people. And because we set our interest on the ad set level, this ad set is going to be targeting a specific group of people on Facebook that are related to whatever interest that you chose on the ad set level. So for example, if I chose mobile phone accessories, now Facebook is just going to show our ad to a small group of people that have shown previous interest to mobile phone related accessories. But because we have 3 different ads, all of these ads are also going to be distributed into even smaller pockets of people within that mobile phone accessory audience. So basically what we're hoping for is that the algorithm could find that perfect audience match that's going to be interested in our ads and in our product. And this is also why we create several different ad sets, because we don't really know which group of people is going to be interested. So we want to be diversifying our risk and trying to find that perfect pocket of audience that will hopefully be interested in our product. Now that you understand that, I'm also going to be walking you guys through on exactly what you need to be looking out for on your ad sets to know whether you should keep them running or if you should turn them off before they spend too much of your money. So basically what you want to do is look at all 5 of your ad sets and wait until each ad set has spent at least 50% of its daily budget. And that usually happens within around 12 p.m. in your time zone. And that's because, as I said earlier, if you launch your ads at midnight, you're giving Facebook a full 24-hour window to distribute your daily budget evenly. So usually around the first half of the day is where you're going to see your ad set spend around 50% of its budget. And once each ad set has spent 50%, so for example, if each ad set has spent $5, you're going to want to pay attention to these 2 metrics. If the CPM of any of your ad sets are over $70 and your cost per click is over $2 to $3 or more, and also the ad set doesn't have a purchase at all, then you simply want to kill that ad set. But on the other hand, if any of your 5 ad sets have a CPM that's less than 70 and have a cost per click that's under $2, that's considered a good start, and you want to keep them running for the rest of the day, which in other words means letting each of these ad sets spend that full $10 for the first day. And as a quick side note, when I'm talking about CPM and cost per click, it's basically these columns that you see on my ads manager here. And if you want to be able to set up your columns that look just like mine, I'll go ahead and just open up my columns here, and you can see all of my columns. So I'll just slowly scroll it down so you can just replay this video and see all of the columns I set here and just set them up for yourself. I'm not going to go through it just because it's going to take extra time in this video, and it's just something that's super easy to do. And I'm basically just showing you all of my columns here, and you can reorder it exactly as I have here on my screen. Now going back to the day 1 metrics, assuming that you have some ad sets that have a CPM of over 70 and the cost per clicks are super duper high, if you end up having to kill any of those ad sets, and basically your choice from there is that you can either test new creatives for your product and try to have really fresh visuals and just overall fresh content for the product that you are testing, or you can just simply test a new product. Because oftentimes if you are testing a specific product that could just be in a really competitive market and you don't have any prior data in your ad account in your pixel, that is usually why Facebook will charge you so much just to show your ads to the users on their platform, especially if you're in a really competitive niche. That being said, if you have some ad sets that reach this metric here, you want to let them run for the rest of the day, and then we can move on to day 2. And basically what we're going to do here is exactly what we did on day 1. You want to wait until all 5 of your ad sets spend at least 50% of its budget. And hold on, just for quick clarification on what I just said, you're not exactly going to have 5 ad sets running on day 2. You are only going to run the ad sets that survived based on day 1. So just make sure you keep that in mind as I continue to go through every step of the process for day 2 and day 3. So by this point, including day 1 and the first half of day 2, all of your ad sets should have spent around $15 at this point, and you're going to pay attention and see whether any of those ad sets have an add to cart or not. If any of those ad sets do not have an add to cart, you're going to go ahead and kill those ad sets. But for any ad sets that do have at least 1 add to cart, you want to keep them running for the rest of the day so that by the end of day 2, you'll have ad sets that have spent at least $20. And then moving on to day 3, the difference of this day is that you're going to let all of your ad sets spend 100% of its budget before you make any type of decision. So this means means you're gonna let all of your ad sets spend at least $30, and you're gonna need to see whether any of those ad sets have a purchase or not. So by this point, if any of those ad sets don't have a purchase within $30 spent, you wanna go ahead and just kill those ad sets. But for any ad sets that have at least one purchase, you will be ready to move on to the next step. So basically after 3 days, you wanna take a look at all of your ad sets and identify which are all of the ad sets that got you at least one purchase. So as an example, we're gonna assume that we had 3 ad sets that actually got us at least one purchase. And once we've identified each of those ad sets, we're gonna need to break each of them down individually and take a look and see which of those ads actually got a purchase. Because as you remember, we've tested 3 different variations of ads for our products, so we just wanna see which one is actually performing the best. So we're gonna assume that ad number 1 is the only ad that got me a purchase. And this is gonna be the exact ad that you're gonna be bringing over to the scaling campaign. And the same principle would apply even if you had 2 ads that also got a purchase. So if your second variation of ad also got a purchase, then this is also going to be the same exact ad that we're gonna be bringing over to our scaling campaign. To give you a quick look of how this actually looks on your ads manager, again, we're gonna be selecting our ad set that got us a purchase, go on the ad level, and from here, we just wanna identify which of these ads actually got all of the purchases. And once you have identified your winning ad sets and your best ads, before we actually move them over to the scaling campaign, I wanna discuss a couple of metrics that you need to keep in mind and what you need to figure out for your product before we start scaling. So to keep this video completely simple, there's only 2 metrics that you really need to pay attention to. The first one being your break-even ROAS, and the second one being your scale ROAS. Fortunately, I have a calculator that you guys can download for free in my description below, and it's gonna help you to calculate these numbers automatically. So with my calculator, all you need to do is input your product price and put how much it actually costs to fulfill your item, and it'll be able to generate your break-even ROAS and your break-even cost per acquisition. And basically, these 2 metrics are just the limit at what point you actually break even when you're spending money on ads on Facebook. So with the example of the break-even ROAS, with your running campaign, you just want to pay attention to your ROAS column, and as long as it's above your break-even ROAS, that is going to tell you that you're profitable. But if this number is below your break-even ROAS, then it's going to tell you that you're not profitable. And for the break-even CPA, it's pretty much the same principle, but just in slightly the reverse form, because basically what this means is just how much is it costing us to actually acquire one purchase on our store. And this is basically telling us that we could spend up to $37 per customer to get a purchase just to break even. So in other words, is that if you're spending money on ads, you want to keep this number as low as possible, and you want this to be below your break-even CPA, because this is also going to tell you whether you're profitable or not. So same thing with the ROAS, you just want to pay attention to your cost per purchase column, and as long as that number is under your break-even CPA, you also know that you're good to go. But like I said earlier, we're only going to be paying attention to our break-even ROAS and our scale ROAS, just because paying attention to your CPA doesn't always give you the full picture, because this metric only assumes that a customer is purchasing 1 unit of our product, because sometimes a customer might actually buy like 2 or 3 units of your product, which is going to give you a higher ROAS, which in other words means that you're getting a higher return on your investment. And now that you understand your numbers, I'm going to discuss how I transition my best ad sets and my ads into a scaling campaign. And basically all you want to do is set up a brand new CBO campaign, and you'll be able to do this if you just go on the campaign level. You're going to see an option that says Advantage Campaign Budget, and then you're going to set it to a budget of $150. Inside the CBO campaign is going to be all of the ad sets that got me at least one purchase from our testing campaign. And within each of these ad sets is going to contain my best ad that got me a purchase within the testing campaign. And this is just another way to look at the structure. Again, it's just a CBO campaign at $150. It contains our best ad sets that we discovered earlier, and then each ad set is going to have our best ad that got us all of the purchases. And what we're going to do is let the CBO campaign spend at least 50% of its budget before we make any type of decision. And you're going to look at the CBO campaign as a whole, in that if the CBO doesn't have a purchase at all, you're going to kill that campaign right away. But if it does have at least one purchase, you're going to let that CBO run for the rest of the day so that it spends that full $150. And assuming that you had to kill that CBO campaign, basically what that means is that your product and your ads is just not ready for scaling just yet, and you're going to have to revert all the way back to the testing campaign structure, rerun all of your testing ad sets for another 3 days, just so you can accumulate more purchases and more data for your product, and then try the CBO campaign again after a full 3 days. But assuming that the CBO campaign at least got a purchase and you let it run for the rest of the day, now what you're basically going to do is let it run for another full day. And this means that you're going to let that CBO spend a total of $300 before you make any type of decision. And what you want to pay attention to when you're looking over your CBO campaign is that if it's below or at your break-even ROAS, you don't want to touch that campaign and just simply let it run for another 48 hours so that it just has more time to optimize and find all the buyers for your product. And the goal is that we're trying to make the CBO campaign reach our scale ROAS number, which is the metric that you're going to be seeing here on my calculator. You basically want that CBO campaign to reach near that number, or ideally above it before you're able to scale. But let's say after 48 hours, you're just really struggling to stay profitable and you can't get above that number, then at that point, you just have to kill that campaign, go all the way back to the testing campaign structure and see if you could still be profitable at your testing budgets, try to get some more data, and then just try to redo this entire process. But let's say your CBO is doing well and you're at your scale ROAS number and ideally above that number, then from here, scaling becomes pretty easy, and pretty much all you need to do is just increase your budget every 48 hours by 20 to 50%. It really just depends on how good your CBO is performing. And this is optional if you want to scale more aggressively. You can simply just duplicate your original $150 CBO, have the same exact ad sets, the same exact ads that are performing well, and just keep doubling the budget. So that new CBO campaign will be running at a budget of $300. And if that does well after 48 hours, then you could just duplicate that again to 600, or you can even duplicate it to 1,000 and just keep rinsing and repeating the process. And that's basically the entire testing and scaling structure that I'm following for Facebook ads. As a reminder, as you start scaling, it's really crucial that you have a good supplier that's fulfilling all of your orders, especially if you start doing like 50 to 100 orders per day. And again, I would strongly recommend that you use Zendrop, because no matter how many orders that you're processing per day, you can just simply select all of your orders at once, click this button, and then fulfill all of your orders at once, and everything will be shipped out to your customers as fast as possible. And if you want to get a free $200 that you can use to fulfill your orders, just make sure to use my link below to sign up for Zendrop. And aside from that, that's pretty much going to wrap up the end of this video. One last tip that I want to give to you, especially when you get to the point of scaling your product, is that you should never just depend on scaling one creative as I shown in this video. You have to be sure that you're constantly testing new creatives at least once per week. And if you want to know how exactly I test new creatives, then be sure to watch my video right here. And also be sure to join my free Discord group as well, so you can be connected with like-minded entrepreneurs who are also doing e-commerce and dropshipping. And I also have a bunch of free assets and resources that will help you in your e-commerce journey. And once again, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.